time for me to abandon my bullish bias on dollar index and my bearish bias on gold and start looking for longs on gold. That is what we will be going through in today's video. We'll look at the macros, the fundamentals, and we will also look at the technicals. We will look at the trades that I had running this week and assess what happened. So, if you're new here, welcome to this channel. This is Sterling Trades. I started this channel as a way to document my journey to consistency or to consistent profitability. So, first of all, again, my apologies for not dropping a video late last week and earlier this week. I had taken a short road trip or a road trip with my family, and surprise, surprise, I forgot my laptop. So when I got back, I had quite a lot of work to catch up on. I do not solely rely on trading. I have other things as well. So I had quite a lot of work to catch up on. But finally, here I am, post NFP. So today was, or rather, this week was one of those weeks that is not very fun. It's not fun to take losses. I did take three losses. I did take a loss on my short positions on gold, short position on silver, and my short position on GU. So it's not always fun to take losses, but losers are part of the game, and you have to review them as honestly as you can and figure out if it was a problem in my your analysis, if there was a problem in my execution, or if it was simply the uncertainty part of trading. So, yes, as I've mentioned, all three ended up hitting my stop loss. So we'll review the positions I was in, where my entry was, where my stop loss was, and then we'll see what happened with macros that changed what has been happening in the market recently. So this was the short position I had on gold. I had a clean flag that had formed. Took my short position here. Was targeting. Well, I really don't have targets. Sometimes I usually just let my winners run as far as they can and trail my stops. So mostly I don't usually hit take profit. I usually my trailing stop is what is usually hit. Yeah, that's just my preferred style of trading. I like to open myself up to the upside. I don't know how far the position will run. So as long as market conditions remain the same. So yeah, I took this loss on gold. Got 1% loss on my account, and uh, something I didn't. Yeah, I took a 1% loss on the account on this gold position. Same to the silver position. Also took a hit, took a 1% hit here. And for GU, I was short on GU. I already deleted my entry on GU. Yeah, I was short on GU. I believe my entry was around here, and yeah, had started rallying, and I ended up taking a 1% loss as well. So I'm down 3%. Uh, I had put my position sizing and my stop loss, all of for each of one of those trades. Um, yeah, the loss was 1%, so I'm down 3%, which is not bad. Something I can recover. That if I get a good trade, that would be a trade to recover those losses. Although I don't terming it as recovering those losses is not the right thing. But anyway, let's go and check on what happened. So yesterday we had NFP. There was the NFP data release, and we saw markets react crazily. So first and foremost, the number came in significantly lower than expected. Let me use Forex Factory. Significantly lower than expected. Expectation was 114,000. Number came out down at 57,000, which is what half. And we also saw a revision of last month's 172k, all the way down to about I think 129,000 thereabout. We Yeah, so This NFP number, it faded the rate hike expectations. So that is why we saw the dollar taking a bit of a tumble from the highs where it was, a bit of a tumble down to about 100 or 100.5. So I'm expecting either we could see a bounce from this zone, or we could see it push lower, lower maybe to about 100 flat, and then we could see a bounce from that. If not, we could see it, melt even lower. But yeah, based on the data, my expectation is that possibly we could see a bounce from this area and continue with a bullish move. Maybe see a break above this 101 or 101.5 level. See a break above this 101.5 level, and yeah, continue maybe to about 104, which I think is the next significant level of support and resistance. We also had the unemployment rate come in, so the expectation was it will hold at 4.3%, but we saw it come down at 4.2%. And these two are a bit contradictory because yes, while the NFP shows the market, the labor market might not be as strong as people thought. The unemployment rate has been on a downtrend, I think, since the beginning of the year. So it shows that maybe the labor market is resilient. I think that is why the markets did not move as crazily as would have been anticipated. And we also saw a bit of wage growth. I think where we also saw a bit of wage growth, with previous one being 3.4%. This is the year on year, not the month on month. Came up to 3.5%. This usually means that businesses are paying a little more for labor. They are paying their employees more, and usually they have to pass these costs down to consumers. So that means inflation, or higher prices rather. That means higher prices or inflation, basically the same thing. And yeah, so these two numbers, the average hourly earnings, the wage growth, and the unemployment rate, are what is making me hold my bullish bias on the dollar, and which means I still have a bit of a bearish bias on gold and a bit of a bearish bias on silver. And yeah, that means I still have sort of a bearish bias on Jew. Yeah, so these trades that I had running, all of them had met my criteria, but the market, received new information from the NFP, and they priced their expectations. It was similar across board for all. I mean, for gold, silver, and for Jew. With the dollar strength we experienced, once the market invalidated, my idea at that time, I was out. My job is not to defend my position, so I just accepted my losses. And I think today, I'm not trading today, and possibly even next week. I'm not in a rush to have any positions to be in any positions. I'm sort of going to be in a wait and see what happens kind of mood, and and sort of see what the markets decide. But so what is my current outlook? That's the most important thing now. What is my current outlook? So let us do a fresh analysis. So has the NFP strengthened my outlook on the dollar? What are treasury yields saying? So let us look at the 2-year yield. 2-year yield still remains a little elevated, and we could possibly see it push even higher. So I'm still, yeah, fuck. So if yields remain elevated here, then that means I will still have my bullish bias on the dollar index. I'm on the dollar itself. So yeah, as I explained, I'm waiting to see if the dollar bounces off from either the 101.5 level or it will come back down to the 100 flat level, and from there I'll make my decisions on to trade or on what to trade. For the commodities, for gold, I will be also waiting to see if we get a bounce off around this 4200 area. If not, we could see it push higher to around 4375 ish level. From there, we'll see if we get a continuation of the bearish trend that we have been on. So either of those scenarios, so either of these scenarios will be what I will be looking for or what I will be looking at. Same for silver. Silver, I was anticipating a push up to around this $63 level, and to see if it bounces off from that zone. Yeah, to see if it bounces off from that zone where I will be looking for again short positions. Remember, this is not trading advice. I'm just sharing my opinions and ideas. Trading is risky, so do your own analysis, do your own research. You can use someone else's ideas to formulate your own ideas, but it's important to do your own research and your own analysis. Yeah, if if it doesn't bounce off from this zone and it decides to push higher, then we will see what happens then. Yeah. So for me, the most important lessons for this week have been, always ensure that you have done proper risk management. Losses don't necessarily invalidate your process. Yeah? As I had mentioned, I do not have a high win rate. My win rate ranges from 40% to about 50%. On 50% is on a the markets are moving really well. Yeah. So I don't really have a high win rate, so I rely heavily on letting winners run. That is why I've said mostly I don't hit the profit. My trades just usually hit my trading stop loss. Yeah, yeah. So to sum it up, I think if the dollar holds support around this zone, it could be anywhere in this region. If the dollar holds support around that zone and yields continue to push higher, um, I'll become more interested in dollar long opportunities. Again, similarly, short on gold and silver. I don't I think I have a possible setup on USD card, but again, I said I'm not taking any trades. For today, we have US bank holiday today anyway, so you won't see a lot of momentum or a lot of volatility in the markets. And yeah, I think that's it. So we saw the markets absolutely focused on the jobs data yesterday and maybe even today. But yeah, a bigger outlook on the macros for me. Still, I'm still holding my bullish bias on the dollar index. That means I'm still bearish on gold and bearish on silver for right now as the markets stand. This could quickly shift if sentiment shifts or inflation expectations shift or anything. And if any macro indicators shift, then I'll be shifting my bias as well. So I did well. I followed my rules. I think I stopped. Yeah, once I hit my stop losses, I just walked away from the charts yesterday, and that was important so that I don't react emotionally to those stop losses. And yeah, that was good for me. So keep improving yourself, keep improving. I will keep improving myself as well and adapting as new information comes in. Then I shift my bias, and we will be back next week to review what the markets give us. I know I still owe you a video on interest rate differentials. I will still do that, and I think that I will do that before I do a pre-market or a pre-week analysis to see what we have for next week. And yeah, I think that will be it from me. So we will be back to review what happens next week. I think I'll do another video. Basically, I've already given you what I'm expecting to see for the week, for the coming week. For me, I'm still in a wait and see. If it bounces, well and good. If it doesn't, then we shift our bias. Bias, BIAS, not bias, BUIERS. Yeah, shift our bias. And all my shift our thesis. So yeah, it was again as always. It was nice making this video. I hope to see you on the next one. Make sure you do all those nice things like share, subscribe to the channel,